Welcome Princeps to the movement phase. How you move and manoeuvre your units in games will definitely be the key to victory. As you saw on page 26, Titans have arcs and facings, and this is integral to how units move and turn. In the movement phase, starting with the first player, you will take turns activating and moving units, including choosing to remain stationary if you wish. Once players have run out of units to activate, or chooses not to activate any more units, the movement phase will end. In this phase, charge and first fire orders can be used, and they are explained in the orders videos much later on. Before we continue, let's talk about the reactor. In this how-to series, we'll be jumping in with the advanced rules for pushing reactors, using the reactor dice. The reactor will make Titans move faster, turn more, power certain weapon systems, and boost your void shields. But in this video, let's just concentrate on speed and turns. So what does pushing the reactor mean? Simply, when you're asked to push the reactor, roll the reactor dice. On the dice you will find 1 blank, which means no effect, 3 single reactors, which means you advance the track by 1, 1 double reactor, which means you advance the track by 2, and 1 single awakening the machine spirit symbol. When this is rolled, you awaken the machine spirit and consult the chart on page 44. And we'll be covering that in much more detail later on. For your first few games, I recommend treating the awakening the machine spirit side of the die as a single reactor. So what does this look like in practice? Here we have our trusty Reaver. It pushes its reactor, rolling a single reactor die, and rolls a double reactor. So we advance the reactor track by 2. Easy. If the status marker is already at the end of the track in the red, you cannot voluntarily push the reactor anymore. Should a reactor push take you past the last hole in the track, the Titan suffers a strength 9 hit to the body, bypassing void shields. This will become more clear when we look at damage in the combat phase. So on to movement. Here we have our Reaver, we've placed our arc template, and we want to move. To go forward, we use our default speed, which is the first number on the speed characteristic, which is 6 inches. The Titan can move forward, or diagonally, within its front arc, in any combination, remembering to measure from the edge of the base. The Titan's facing must remain the same throughout. If we wish to use the second number on the Titan speed characteristic, which here is 9 inches, we have to power to locomotives. To do this, you must push the reactor, rolling a reactor die. Apply the result to the reactor track, and remembering to do this before you start moving. Titans can also move out of their front arc. If they do, for every inch moved, costs double. In our example, the Reaver moves 3 inches out of arc, so it costs 6 inches in total. You can apply this to your boosted movement when you power to locomotives as well. And again, remember, keeping your facing the same. Should a Titan wish to change its facing, it can turn using the default manoeuvre characteristic, which for a Reaver is 2. In our example, the Reaver moves 3 inches, then makes a turn of up to 45 degrees. Then a further 3-inch move, and another turn up to 45 degrees, using up its default characteristic. A Titan can, if it then wishes, do power to stabilizers to use its boosted manoeuvre characteristic. After making a turn, you can push the reactor, apply the result to the reactor track, then use the second characteristic, which in this case for a Reaver is 3. In our final example, we'll see this Reaver move, pushing the reactor for power to locomotives for 1 advance on the track. The Reaver moves 3 of 9 inches available. Then makes 1 turn up to 45 degrees. A side step of 1 inch out of front arc, so uses 2 inches of movement. Then moves forward using the last 4 inches of movement available. The Reaver then uses the last of its default turns. Pushing the reactor for power to stabilizers to use its boosted turn characteristic, rolling a blank, which means the track does not advance. And with this, movement is complete. We'll see you in the next video, the damage control phase.